survivor resources, and what you need to know. Welcome back to Operation Let's Get Educated. I'm Elise.
I'm Dawnie.
And we're going to be talking about survivor resources today.
Here is our weekly update on human trafficking arrests. October 10th through 11th, there were 4 different arrests here. The first one is a man charged with rape, human trafficking involving child in Kings Mountain. That was on October 10th. Another one on October 10th, 50,000 alleged sex abuse victims expected to sue the Boy Scouts. On October 11th, 28 people arrested in a week-long human trafficking sting led by the FBI in South Reno. Another on October 11th, 19-year-old Florida man was charged with 100 counts of child pornography.
From October 12th through October 18th, 2 17-year-old human trafficking victims were rescued. Rialto man is arrested. That is in California. In Queens, New York, a man was charged with sex trafficking at Troubled Q Gardens Hotel. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a man was sentenced to 30 years for sexually abusing and recording the abuse of a child. South Walton man charged with 116 counts of child pornography possession. I just want to clarify, we don't want to start this off with awful news for any of you, but the point of this podcast is to bring education, and I think we all need to know and understand what's going on behind the scenes in different states all around us.
We're obviously seeing a lot of arrests throughout the country, and that's because this is happening everywhere. And that is what we're here to do. Like Elise said, we're here to bring awareness to this topic. And so I hope you guys know and understand that we are here for you and for these victims as well.
Yes, definitely. And the point of today's podcast, although we started off with the education of what's going on in the world, is also to show you guys what's happening behind the scenes. So when these women and children are rescued from trafficking, what is happening in their lives afterwards. And there are a lot of uplifting stories. There's a lot of uplifting things going on. It's really easy. I think you can relate with me in the sense of getting sucked into this rabbit hole of really awful topics such as this and trying to make sense of it all. It's not going to make sense to the normal average person, obviously. But we also want to clarify that there's a lot of great resources and organizations that are doing amazing things to help these people get back into, as much of a normal life as they can. And sometimes it takes months, years, lots of time and effort in the rehabilitation stage. But it's really important to focus on that as well and stuff that we can do.
Exactly. And these are global organizations as well as local. So we are in the state of Colorado. There are several organizations. Unfortunately, we have a need for them, but fortunately, they are here for those survivors who need this type of care. There are also many global organizations who are working to help these victims of human trafficking around the world. So all around, there are many, many options for people out there to receive the type of aftercare that they need to help them either find a place to live, to get back on their feet, try and find a job, all kinds of different resources. So we wanted to talk about that today and let you guys know that there is hope for those survivors out there who may feel like they don't have much right now.
Definitely. Human Trafficking Hotline. So if you guys ever have an issue of even witnessing something that looks suspicious, or if any of you are out there that are in human trafficking and want to get out of it, the National Human Trafficking Hotline is 1-888-373-7888. You can also text 233-733, so be free. They have live chat, and they also have an email address that you can send an email to. And I wanted to share an experience. I don't even know if I've told you this before, but so we used to live in Texas, right? And it was right around the Super Bowl. And I don't know if our viewers understand or know this, but there has been studies shown that around the Super Bowl, there's lots of trafficked victims, and it's a very common thing. And I was driving down some road. It was like a back road with my husband, and our kids were with us as well. And I noticed something really suspicious. And I look over, it was dark. It was probably like 10:30, 11 at night, and we were on our way back from something. And in a parking lot, there is a van. And this van is parked there. It looked suspicious, and there's another car parked next to it. All of a sudden, I see about 8 children being taken out of this van. They all looked very nice. They had dress clothes on, almost like they were getting ready for some type of fancy outing. And we drove past it really fast, and I looked at my husband, and I'm like, that looks weird. Like, that doesn't look normal. Like, we needed to drive back. And as we're driving back, I see that they're shuffling these kids, and a few of them are getting picked to go into this other car. And I'm like, that is not okay. That does not look right. My husband and I ended up calling the police in the local area, let them know what we saw. We got down the license plate number of the van. But right as soon as they saw us drive back around, they were like hauling butt, to try and get these kids back into the cars. And this is the type of stuff that is happening all around us. Unfortunately, these people are sneaky, and they're doing it at night, and they're doing it in a remote area so that they think nobody's going to see it. But we need to always keep our eyes and ears open to these situations.
You didn't tell me about that, but I mean, obviously, like you said, big events like the Super Bowl and other gatherings, I mean, sickeningly creates a need for this type of criminal behavior. Mm-hmm. And like you said, we need to be on the lookout. It's important for us to become educated on the signs of trafficking,
right?
What it looks like, what different behaviors we should be keeping an eye out for. That's what a lot of these organizations that we're talking about today provide. They provide trainings, they provide awareness. There is a local a nonprofit organization here in Colorado called Laboratory to Combat Human Trafficking. They provide trainings for anybody who wants to sign up. You can go onto their website, combathumantrafficking.org, and they offer trainings for healthcare providers, different businesses, law enforcement. If you are curious or interested in doing your part to end human trafficking, those are options for you if you feel like you can't do that, if you don't have the time to participate in those types of trainings and want to donate. You can also do your part by donating as well to help people to end this.
Yes, definitely. And a great local organization is, I know we've said it before, Safe Rockies. It's in Colorado as well. And what Safe Rockies is, it stands for Strategic Alliance to Fight Exploitation. And it's a funding model. So it's for fighting sex trafficking in the Rockies. Through this model, they're able to move the needle against exploitation by funding vetted organizations through tax-deductible donations. So they work with all kinds of organizations to basically fight against this, against trafficking, and to give resources for people that are trying to get out of it. So definitely check them out as well, and they're at saferockies.org or .org. Another global organization is Operation Underground Railroad. I know there's lots of trainings in that, and that's something that actually we're planning on doing, whether that's through Operation Underground Railroad or the one
local.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We definitely definitely would advise for anyone out there to get these trainings. We have a friend that has also gone through the trainings and was really happy with it. There's lots of people that are sharing their experiences that make this a little more real. I think it's easy to kind of detach from situations like this just because it's so unreal to people to understand.
It's incomprehensible
Yeah.
to understand how this could happen.
Yes, but there's also a lot of people that have come out of it and changed their lives and taken, a passion in helping others. One thing that we'd like to share are a few different visuals that we took from Instagram. And Mr. Producer, if you could pull up one of those. Thank you. So mentorship through OUR.
All right. This is Operation Underground Railroad. So this is their Instagram post here on their account, Our Rescue. In many of our partnering aftercare homes around the world, survivors love to come back and mentor their young peers. This happens in many different ways. In some places, they will come back and teach a skill such as cutting hair or sewing. Sometimes survivors will go on to become social workers and go back to work at the aftercare home they lived in. This turns into a beautiful healing experience for many when they can relate to each other and feel mutually understood. We are continually amazed by the strength of survivors to persevere through the hard moments and to look to the future with hope. It's one of our core beliefs that we're all in this journey together. Survivors, brave warriors, are experts on being able to understand what holistic aftercare is and the challenges that come throughout the journey. That was a quote by Jessica Mass, Director of Aftercare at Operation Underground Railroad.
I think that's so amazing to have somebody that's actually been through the process helping others. How much more powerful could it get?
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure empathy is a huge part of the healing experience. If you feel like somebody doesn't really understand what you've gone through, it's hard to really believe and understand what they're trying to convey to you as far as how you can move on, how you can get better. If you have that example in front of you of somebody who has succeeded, who has survived these horrific circumstances, it would be an amazing experience.
Yep. And I know from what I've heard, people talk about in these different situations is that when you're in it, when these women and children are in it, they get pitted against each other a lot of the times, and it's about survival. And I think coming out of these situations and actually being able to help one another because there's hope. I think that's the biggest thing when these women and children are in these situations is that they don't have the hope. And in their minds, they probably don't see a lot of end in sight. And so these organizations help to provide that for these individuals, and the fact that they're able to help each other after these experiences that they've had is really inspiring to me.
And that's what the another organization, Love 146, Mr. Producer, if you could bring up that. Thank you.
Love 146 posted on Instagram, we don't just want to tell you how many children we help. We want to assure you that our help makes a lasting impact in their lives. We see that transformation in the stories unfolding for youth and their families. But in order to be accountable to our vision to end child trafficking, we need to be measuring impact and creating effective programs that can be replicated. The University of New Hampshire's Crimes Against Children Resource Center, CCRC, is one of the most highly regarded institutions in answering questions like this with robust methodology. Last week, the U.S. Department of Justice awarded funds that will allow the CCRC to partner with Love 146's U.S. Survivor Care Program and take first steps toward a rigorous evaluation that will measure its effectiveness. Thank you to these organizations that are doing these amazing things. I love being able to report on the positive things that are coming out of these situations. And to end this podcast, we would love to share with you a clip from saferockies.org, a video that they did. It's about 20 minutes long. We're just going to show a clip of it, but we would love for you guys to go back and visit it and see the whole thing because it's a very empowering video.
The time is this, to be launching Safe Rockies and be at that place where we're just about to really dive in head first and help these victims come out of the trafficking situations that they found themselves in.
When you can genuinely look at people in the eyes and say, I will go the distance and I will do whatever it takes for this kid, just one person, then it doesn't feel so daunting.
Try to take a threefold approach to where we're going after trying to recover the victims, making sure that we're pulling them out of this lifestyle. We're going after the demand side as well, to where these Johns and these people that are sex buyers, they're going to be held accountable for what they're doing as well and creating part of this problem. And then we're also going after the distribution or the traffickers themselves.
So in our community, we have a lot of trafficking going on. We have limited resources. We have a lot of very, very, very broken individuals who are just doing their best to get by. Without organizations like Covered, I definitely wouldn't be progressing the way that I am today.
I'm really excited about the work of Safe Rockies. To see a collaborative approach brought to moving the needle against this great evil is super encouraging to us.
It takes a village to be able to do this. We have some people that do it great, and we want to partner with people that do it great. We want to be able to do it as well, so we need input. We need people's knowledge and their wisdom.
We are excited to be bringing all of these groups together, bringing the community together through nonprofits, through the business, through law enforcement, through, at the state level, we'll be working with state prosecutors. We have to be reaching across the aisle with those that are doing all the research. It's going to take faith-based and non-faith-based groups to get this job done. We can't do it alone. We all need to coalesce, to come together, to drop down those barriers that are keeping us from working from one another and be about the victim, not be about ourselves, but be about the victims that we're coming to save.
And so for me, I'm excited because one of my heart passions is to foster that collaboration, to build bridges where divides exist, to work together, to begin to see how we interweave and are interconnected within what God has called us to do. So for me, SAFE is exactly that.
That sounds like collaboration. Wait a minute, that sounds like unity. That sounds like we're coming together. We're bringing all the different heroes, superheroes with their superpowers together. We're bringing all the Avengers together to fight, a one common enemy. And to me, that whole idea is powerful, that I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to have all the solutions. I don't have to have all the resources.
I believe SAFE is absolutely the best possible thing that any city could have for human trafficking. I believe it pulls in all of the necessary pieces.
There are some incredible organizations that are doing incredible work, and there's nothing that has happened that has put all of these nonprofits around the same table together except for Safe Rockies, and it is so needed to be able to make a larger impact in Denver.
So we believe Denver is a stake in the ground where we're going to see the spirit rise up, and it's going to spread through the entire country, bringing hope and freedom to those men and those women that are enslaved.
Thank you so much. So just so you guys know, this is just one organization. They're doing amazing things. Safe Rockies, saferockies.org. Visit them. There's also so many. We couldn't we couldn't put all of them on here, but just remember that there's a lot of good things happening. With all the darkness comes light, and I feel like a lot of these organizations are doing amazing things to change that and to help the situation. Please remember to subscribe, ring the bell so that you guys can be notified when we come on. And thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.